Hello, everybody. David Schuster here. Republican lawmakers are expressing shock at Donald Trump's efforts to control U.S. economic data. Former Republican House member Carlos Curbelo of Florida is calling the Trump actions dangerous.
The reason that we are the greatest country in the world with the greatest economy in the world is because there's been a lot of trust that's been built over the decades in our society. People trust statistics. People know that the government, even though there's a lot of disagreements, when they have to come out and tell us what's going on in terms of the economy, jobs, that those numbers are accurate. The rest of the world trusts us, right? What happens when China publishes figures? People are like, well, we don't really know if that's true or not. Maybe they're just trying to put some propaganda out there. We are losing trust in our society, in our country. That will make us all poorer. That will reduce our quality of life. That will give other countries the opportunity to get ahead of us.
As Axios reported, Trump spins up a no bad news presidency. Quote, President Trump is accelerating his longtime efforts to banish facts and figures that challenge his narrative of a spotless presidency. Trump recently fired the head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics for publishing a jobs report showing almost no growth in Trump's first quarter as president.
The next person who takes that job is going to have the worst job in the world. If they put out numbers that the president doesn't like, they're going to get attacked by the president. If they put out numbers that the president likes, other people aren't going to believe them. So this is what the situation this creates. And at the end of the day, everybody loses.
Case in point, in the wake of Trump firing the Bureau of Labor Statistics commissioner, the president brought in a conservative economic analyst into the Oval Office. Stephen Moore, who once had a fairly decent reputation in Washington, all but shined Donald Trump's shoes in this photo op while trying to justify Trump's disdain for government statistics.
I was telling the president that he did the right thing in calling for a new head of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, because this shows that over the last 2 years of the Biden administration, the BLS overestimated job creation by 1.5 million jobs. Mr. President, that's a gigantic error. And I don't know if she's, I'm not
Might not have been an error, that's the bad part. If it was an error, it would be one thing. I don't think it's an error. I think they did it purposely.
Stephen Moore is now being shredded as a Trump lapdog, toady, and sycophant. And his numbers are being ridiculed. Fact checkers point out that the Bureau of Labor Statistics has always corrected numbers on a monthly basis as more comprehensive data comes in. But now, everything the Bureau does in the wake of Donald Trump's firing of the BLS commissioner will be suspect.
Because this is like taking value that the United States has literally spent decades and decades and decades building up, and Donald Trump just strikes a match and sets it on fire. He tells the entire world, don't trust data coming out of the United States. Lord, is that
Do you have any
expensive.
expectation there's something you and the Congress can do about it?
Well, yeah, this is our problem.
I mean, obviously,
all
you're in the
along.
minority party, but...
Well, we have Republicans, in theory, they could just stand up to him, but I say in theory. It's the most spineless bunch of people I've ever seen. Even something that so clearly will hurt their home states, will hurt businesses in their home states, and I don't hear a peep from them saying, back off, we need independent data collection. This woman who has served under Democrats and Republicans, shoot, Marco Rubio, J.D. Vance voted for her when she was confirmed. Very apolitical position. Where are those Republicans?
What about
And to Senator Warren's point, the Republicans who are speaking out include Carlos Curbelo, who he played for you but is no longer in Congress, and Tom Tillis, Republican senator from North Carolina, who is not seeking re-election. Other Republicans have largely been muted. By all accounts, Donald Trump is exceptionally sensitive to criticism over his stewardship of the economy. Over the weekend, Trump flipped out at Nobel Prize-winning economist Paul Krugman. Krugman left the New York Times last year and started his own Substack, where he has been a vocal critic of Donald Trump's tariffs. In an article posted on Sunday, Krugman called most of the tariffs clearly illegal and said Trump has reversed 90 years of tariff reductions. Krugman also said Trump was engaged in false promises. On his True Social, Donald Trump wrote, Paul Krugman of the New York Times has been predicting doom and gloom ever since my great election success in 2016. In other words, he has been wrong for years, as all markets have been hitting new highs and are now higher than ever before. People stayed out of the best market in history because of this Trump deranged bum. Sue them. Well, a couple of things. The markets are not hitting new highs. And last week, following Trump's firing of the BLS commissioner, the markets went down again. Also, as we said, Krugman is not with the New York Times. He hasn't been there for over 9 months. So once again, Donald Trump is showing traits of perhaps dementia and memory loss or confusion. As for Donald Trump's rosy alternative statistics, even a former communications director from Trump's first term says that the president's numbers are absurd given the economy's nuances and complexities.
It's a mixed bag. The economy's a mixed bag. You can go through the economy and pick out things that are doing okay, and you can see the underlying surface cracks in the economy. And you don't have to be a rocket scientist to see that there's a slowdown coming. So, it's a mixed bag. And I think what the president's doing there is a little bit ridiculous.
Trump is doing things that are ridiculous. In other words, it's a weekday. Although Trump's ridiculous actions often extend to weekends when he fires off his screeds on social media. The bottom line is that Republicans who are not in Congress or who are soon leaving, they are speaking out against Donald Trump's alternative facts. And even lawmakers who remain on Capitol Hill, if you get them away from the microphones, will tell you that Donald Trump's pie-in-the-sky data is lunacy and dangerous. But Donald Trump doesn't listen to reason, reality, or even Nobel Prize-winning economists. Trump only listens to his own narcissism. So on the economy, which is the number one issue for American voters, the Trump lies and the spinning keep intensifying. By the way, Donald Trump is getting a dire warning from a former Fox News host on the Jeffrey Epstein scandal.
There will be an insurrection if he pardons Ghislaine Maxwell. And it won't just be coming from the left. It'll be coming from the middle of America, the independents. It'll be coming from Republicans, and it'll be coming from MAGA. So I do not advise President Trump to be considering that.
Well, I'm allowed to give her a pardon, but nobody's approached me with it.
Documents for her sentencing specifically said she's not to go to a minimum security facility. And that's where she is right now. She's walking around there in a dorm-style place, enjoying herself. This is so wrong.
Check out that video at the link below. It generated a lot of comments on YouTube. One of the most popular is from Joe, who wrote, "Insurrection, you say? You bet your ass." I look forward to hearing all of your comments about Donald Trump cooking the books and getting called out on his economic data by Republicans. I'm David Schuster. Thanks for joining us.